Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Paul McCormack, the project coordinator for GenCom. GenCom is about generating energy secure communities using hydrogen as an energy vector. GenCom will technically and financially validate and model renewable hydrogen value chain and adopt it to our decision support tool that Northwest Europe communities and others can use to develop sustainable, local and autonomous energy matrices. GenCom have joined with Seafuel and Hughes, two other Interreg projects, to create a wider hydrogen vision and create that hydrogen triple alliance that will deliver for all of the communities across Europe who want to optimise hydrogen for their energy solutions.
Today, I want to talk to you about a project that I manage and coordinate, the Hydrogen Utilisation and Green Energy Project. Hughes is a 1.4 million three-year project that is funded by the Northern Periphery and Arctic Programme area. Hughes' ambition is to raise awareness as to the use of green hydrogen as a viable energy vector for remote and peripheral communities in housing, transport and industry. We strongly believe that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts and that coming together as the Hydrogen Triple Alliance, we will help make the case for hydrogen to a wider audience and we will help deliver our aims well beyond our respective program areas.
Hello, I'm Dr. Paul Farras, lecturer in chemistry at NUI Galway and coordinator of the Seafuel project. Seafuel aims to demonstrate sustainable integration of renewable fuels in local transportation by using abundant and renewable energy sources such as wind and solar to produce hydrogen as a zero-emission fuel. Our pilot in the Canary Islands can be replicated to other coastal communities where economic growth will go in hand with green fuels and sustainable tourism. With the Hydrogen Triple Alliance, we will share this knowledge with our colleagues in Hughes and GenCom and ensure their long-term impact beyond the lifetime of each of the individual projects, and also far-reaching their geographical footprint.
Communities and investors are joining forces for a better, greener future. But where to begin? The Community Hydrogen Forum, CH2F, is the starting point for meaningful engagement, information and discussions on hydrogen. CH2F is a powerful tool to support communities with their hydrogen plans, from scratch to success. Register now.
Good morning, Morgen Moi, bon dia, buenos dias. That's good morning from all the speakers that we have gathered today, our international speakers from Tenerife, Aran Islands, Galway, United Kingdom and Northern Ireland. And welcome to today's webinar, How Can Renewables Sustain Resilient Communities? As the introduction there illustrated, GenCom, Seafuel and Hughes have come together to share resources, share opportunities and to help people navigate their way to the on-ramp for the hydrogen economy and the hydrogen highway and how we're able to move forward. I'm Paul McCormack, the Programme Director and the Programme Coordinator for GenCom. The presentations that you'll see today will be available after the event to be downloaded from the Community Hydrogen Forum, and there will also be recordings sent out next week of each of the individual presentations. So they're on-demand presentations after the event. We would like to hear from you all during the event. We have the Q&A activated on the right-hand side. When we design our webinars within the hydrogen forums, we try to be as interactive as possible. In today's digitally first environment, we want to make sure we keep the audience on their toes and that you walk away from the webinar having gained at least 3 important bits of information. But importantly, we have also gained information from your questions. So it has to be a two-way street. The presentations are no longer than 15 minutes, followed by a Q&A session on each speaker. Again, deliberately planned to make sure the audience are interactive and it doesn't go on and you don't zone out. As I said, we want to make sure that we learn and you learn as a two-way street. So that Q&A on the right-hand side, be active there, please. And it's good to see all the hellos coming in this morning from as far away as Thurso, Compostela and Australia and beyond. On the Twitter, when we're using Twitter later on, it's hashtag H2 Triple Alliance for those that are able to use that. And we want to encourage that social interaction. If we're going to really engage in the hydrogen economy, we need to be more interactive. We need to be working with people like yourselves, like Dr. Peter Waters, who's currently working with us in GenCom, to roll out the skills to sustain the environment. We've got to engage with the communities to give them the confidence to move forward. We're working with Vatnaline, Valencia Island, Tenerife and the Aran Islands and other remote communities across the 3 projects to provide that confidence to move forward, to change the energy dynamic where the communities, instead of being at the end of a very fragile energy grid, can now be at the start of the grid and take the opportunity for themselves and being able now to move that forward and build that welcome. Folks, we have over 350 people registered for today, and we're upwards on 220 attending now this morning. So those of you that are just joining us, you're more than welcome. It's set up deliberately on Webinar Jam through Joanna Wilson in the background to make sure that people, there are no barriers to joining. There are no logons or no codes. Once you have the Eventbrite invite, use that. We want to engage, as we said, and this process has been ongoing over the last couple of years in all of the programs. As we move forward, we want to pass the hype that is out there now on hydrogen and bring it down to a level where communities can engage. The agenda for today, as I said, if you've seen the video, the first speaker will be Irina Garcia Fernandez from Seafuel in Tenerife, and she'll be talking about zero emission road transport. Then Avril Nihariki from the huge project on Aaron Moore will talk about sustainable maritime transports. Ian Williamson from GenCom and Seafuel will talk about the opportunity for low carbon air transport. And then Rory Monaghan from NUIG in Galway, who's leading the DST in GenCom and who's integrating the CH2F across all the projects, will look at how the Community Hydrogen Forum is your on-ramp for the hydrogen highway, how it encourages and empowers communities to get the information they need to make informed decisions. We will then have the 3 Interreg directors from the 3 relevant projects talking about how they're moving towards this green economy and how they're opening opportunities for people. And we'll follow up then by a shared quick Q&A where everybody can get their opportunity, have their speak and to present those tables. In the past, transport and industry was all about collecting oil, delivering oil and using oil. As we now move forward into a green economy and a green future, we now need to look about capturing renewables, using renewables and delivering those renewables in a format that would empower communities and give communities the opportunity to have energy security. And building on that energy security, how they then can start developing, empowering their communities to greater growth and greater sustainability. The hydrogen opportunity. The European Commission is committed to tackling climate and environmental challenges. That means we must reduce our CO2 footprint. We must find solutions rather than our reliance on fossil fuels. The EU has defined a strong set of measures about achieving these net zero greenhouse gases by 2050 and decoupling economic growth from energy resource use. This decoupling creates an opportunity for sector coupling activities in energy, transport and industry, using hydrogen as the vector, and those sector coupling change the energy dynamic and put the communities at the start of the chain rather than the recipients. Giving them that power and opportunity allows them to reach further, allows them to build that resilience that we need to move beyond 2020 and to have a green future. Green hydrogen, why now? The hydrogen economy term was used way back in the 70s for those who are old enough to remember the oil crisis. People were looking at alternatives. But the thing about the fossil fuels, it was always very easy to access and use. Times have changed. We're now in the middle of what I would call a perfect storm. You have the COVID on one side and the need for economic resilience and growth. You have the CO2 climate challenge on the other, and we have opportunity created from that. Where hydrogen now has an opportunity to come in past the false starts. We're now in those perfect conditions and backed up with the EU government commitment. The greater availability of cheap renewable power and energy security are the key differentiators that will move this chance forward. As we make that just transition towards a green economy, we must make sure we leave no stranded assets. We must make sure we bring communities with us and empower those communities to take charge, where they can use hydrogen as an energy fuel, which presents a plethora of technical safety and regulatory challenges, but the opportunities are there. Not all opportunities will be the same across all of Europe because of the different availability of renewables and the different need for energy solutions. And it's those hybrid solutions that we're going to look at today with air, sea and land travel. how hydrogen is an opportunity there to be part of a solution and not overall, but how it presents an opportunity for those groups to engage. In the most optimistic outlooks, hydrogen is powering trucks, planes and buses. It will soon heat homes, balance energy grids and help industry to make everything from steel to cement. All about changing the CO2 footprint. The CH2F is our on-ramp for the green hydrogen highway. If the one thing we want to take from today, when we talk about all the different speakers, is set your energy sat nav to CH2F. That is the destination and it's your route map to zero green opportunity. Europe embraces green hydrogen revolution and many are confused how do they engage. The core rationale for green hydrogen, that is hydrogen from renewable energy, it is a clean energy alternative. It tackles our CO2 emission targets. It allows us to make that just transition and it's a map to the hydrogen highway, how we get to there. Rory will talk about that in the final presentation, how it's an on-ramp and it's a forum for all to engage. Communities, industry, public bodies, the whole lot to be informed and also to inform. As we said today, this morning's event is a two-way communication street. How we do that? I would say the challenge for us all is not a simple yes or no to hydrogen. It's a yes, but where is best for us to use it, to optimize it, and look at those regional differences and look at those regional opportunities. Hydrogen has its place in a hybrid energy solution, and that place is different for all depending on the opportunity. One of the things we talked about at the start was let's keep the audience on our toes. We have a poll here for you, and we'd like you to engage straight away, and it gets you thinking. What is the biggest hurdle in the hydrogen opportunity that communities need to overcome? Is it lack of information, lack of access, lack of trust, or other reason? And please specify. This allows us to gauge what the audience are thinking, what your thoughts are, and where you want to go, and how we shape the presentations that will follow. How the presenters, Avril, Irina, Ian, and Rory, can include some of the detail in the presentations to answer your concerns. And importantly, it gets you on your toes. Get away from answering your emails when you're watching the webinar and concentrate on the four presenters. Give them the time and afford them the opportunity to respond to the Q&As that you will present. So it allows us to make sure that the webinar is just another call. It has to be able to leave a footprint. It has to deliver for the three projects, deliver for the three Interreg regions, and importantly, deliver for you. If we look at lack of information and lack of access, 47 and 37% are two of the most. That could be technical access or information access or financial access. And the information is where do we start? So it's great that we've got that starting coming out from 213 that are online at the minute. And you have the two leaders, the lack of trust at 8% and other at 15%. But importantly, and I'll ask the presenters, have a look at this and carry this forward in your presentations. Where's the access to hydrogen at 41% and where's the information at 33%? But folks, we'll close the poll there and we'll thank you for that. It shows that you're all alive, that you're all working and they're not just robots. So that it's our way of an online capture. We'll make sure you're actually listening.